So the start of 2023 was a weird one for me.
Just got checked into Legacy Hospital.
Going in for my bone transport surgery.
I had just undergone an experimental surgery to try and literally regrow a portion of my femur bone. I was non-weight bearing for the first part of the year, which really kind of set the pace for the entire year.
My cut opened, so I am now sitting here like this.
Things were slow, at least in comparison to previous years. In 2023, my days consisted of hanging out with family, going out to eat, playing video games, making coffee, and daydreaming about things I wish I could be doing. Due to the situation with my injury and where I was at physically, I couldn't really get out and photograph the world like I once did. But that's okay, because I learned something this past year. I learned that the most important images that I can ever create are the images of my own life. See, the thing about photography nowadays, at least a lot of the photography online and on social media, is that it's all about creating a photo or video that will do the best. The photo that will have the best engagement or please the algorithm. There has been a massive influx of people creating very similar style images in very similar places, from landscape photography to portrait photography, and even styles of live music photography have become really similar across the entire board. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, and I've been a photographer my entire life, so this isn't really anything new to the photography and creative industry. It's always been kind of recycled ideas and putting your own flair on it, which has its own place and a purpose for that specific thing. But 2023 forced me to take a step back and look at my own photos from a way more personal perspective. Due to my injury, it went from images that I should make or that I wanted to make to creating images that I could create and that I had the ability to create. Which, to be totally transparent, at first it was a really brutal realization. In 2023, traveling every single week to work with a new brand or a new artist was just not something that I was physically going to be capable of, so I really had to take a step back and figure out how I could still create images that I was proud of and that I wanted to create. And at first, being stuck at home really stung. But slowly, I started to see more and more of the smaller moments in my own life. Being at home had me looking around my house, looking around my family, looking around my coffee, and just finding these really slow, intimate moments about my own life and the life that I am living. The more I documented these small moments, the more I started falling in love with them. It started showing me the literal story to my own book. Each photo was a new chapter, or a new story, or a new page, and I found that every single day. Later on in 2023, when I was able to kind of get out of my house a little bit more with my cane in hand, this new style of photography followed along with me. I'm under a blanket at the beach. I look crazy. It's so cold out and I can't walk, so they set me up with a chair. I was more interested in documenting the process of my day than I was about actually documenting the location I was going to or the end goal of the trip. Which leads me to talk about how my style has specifically evolved over this past year. Previously, I was fixated on capturing that epic shot, and I've realized that those images, while aesthetically pleasing, lack any emotional depth or narrative of the quieter moments in my life. I have found myself beginning to gravitate to the storytelling aspect of these much more personal photographs. For example, a picture of a waterfall is cool, but the story on how I actually got to the waterfall and the process of getting there and what I experienced up to the point of seeing this waterfall for the first time felt a little bit more important to me. This isn't really something I thought about before either. It was always, what's the end goal and how can I get that epic photo? But looking back on these epic style of photos, while aesthetically pleasing, lack the emotional depth and the narrative of the smaller moments in my life. Sure, the epic photo looks really cool, and yeah, it probably would perform better, but it leaves me feeling unfulfilled and wanting more. To be honest, anyone can photograph a location, but no one will have the same experience as you did at that location. So why not just try to focus on that rather than what everyone else is doing? And I think that in itself is the biggest lesson that I learned in 2023 with my photography. It's a bit interesting. The frustration I felt initially regarding what I could and couldn't do quickly subsided when I allowed myself to explore what I could capture. This honestly shifted my entire perspective on what I truly wanted to even photograph in the first place. Which in return helped release some of the frustration I was feeling about my work and not being able to do what I wanted to do. And now I want to document these slow and in-between moments. They feel more alive, they feel more real, they feel more authentic and more authentic to who I am and who I want to be as a photographer. So at the end of the day, it's the direction that I want to head with my work anyway, so why not just document more of those moments? While my love for capturing breathtaking landscapes is still there, I've developed a deeper appreciation for my personal storytelling through photography. After all, your unique perspective on life is your greatest asset. Also, I know a couple people are going to ask this, what gear did I use this year? Well, for all my video work, I used the Sony FX3 and Sony A1. I also used the Leica M11, Leica M6, Mamiya 7 II, and Contax T2. Those are basically the cameras that I had in rotation this entire year, and I really fell in love with all those cameras. I hope your year was fantastic, and I would love to hear how your photography evolved over this past year, or what has changed for you in 2023, and what you're looking forward to photograph more of or less of in 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have an amazing new year, and I will see you guys in the next year. Bye!